Hey, Jesse, how you doing?
Hello, Tommy.
You doing all right today?
Living beautiful North Bama day.
Sounds like humidity and rain. Got it.
You just nailed it. Nailed it. It just finished raining like 10 minutes ago.
I believe it. Right on. So, as you're aware, I'm currently having a 30 vets in 30 days. This is my 29th episode. I'm talking about Jesse Hamilton,
Almost
and
made it.
he is a transition service member from the Navy, or just about already transitioned from the Navy. But we'll talk about that more later in the video. My goal is to put a person behind a picture of a transition service member on LinkedIn. I have a Veterans Advice Group YouTube channel, which is where you find the full length video of this video session, and a LinkedIn group with the exact same name. But my only hard rule is no military profile picture, because I made the rules. I can say that. And all these views are myself and not associated with the company that I work for. But today, this video is about Jesse. Who's Jesse?
The man, the myth, the legend. I'm a farm kid from the middle of nowhere, southeast Minnesota. Corn, soybeans, dairy cattle, ridiculously cold in the wintertime, and which is pretty much essentially what drove me into the warm embrace of the world's greatest Navy. Just because I felt pretty certain it was going to take me to a beach somewhere that was a lot warmer than where I was. I planned on 6 years because I joined as an electronics technician surface, and it was a 6-year obligation. And before I knew it, it took me to a 21-year career. I ended up jumping over to Navy diver after I moved backtrack. Joined in 2000. In about 2003, I applied to dive school after I flushed the crazy notion of going to Buzz and trying to be a SEAL out of my head, and decided to go to dive school instead to be a Navy diver. Went to dive school in 2003, graduated in November of 2003, and spent the rest of my career in the Navy as a deep sea diver, and retired as a chief petty officer. Nice. Or will be retiring as a chief petty officer. I retire August 31st. So
awesome. So how long have you been in the Navy?
So like I just said, 21 years. The total will be 21 years, 2 months, 25 days. It went by an absolute blur. I literally touched pretty much the only continent that I didn't touch was Antarctica and Africa. Been all over the world, everywhere else. So yeah, so 21 some change.
Awesome. So when is your last month of this year in the Navy?
August 31st. August 31st will be my official last day.
That's like 2 months away.
It's about 60 days.
Nice. So your availability to start your next career is like yesterday?
Pretty much right now. So
okay.
Terminal leave doesn't start until Monday, but I mean, military weekends, pretty much right now.
Right on. That sounds awesome and exciting. So, education, certifications. Did you get any of that?
Oh, I did. I squeezed every last drop of blood I could out of the Navy for tuition assistance. I earned 2 associate's degree from Coastline Community College back in 2014. One in electronics from a previous rate, and then one in supervision and management for my current rate. I'll admit those were straight candy for the chief selection board. I did it because, one, wasn't going to hurt anything, and two, I was getting a little peeved at how many times it was taking me to select. So yeah, I did that, and then in 2018, January 18, I believe it was, I started over at University of Maryland's global campus and started on their bachelor's of computer networking and cybersecurity, because that was a decision I made after kind of plinking back and forth for org leadership, business, management. And like eventually I came down to, well, tech isn't going anywhere. And I did try computer science first. Coding is ridiculously hard. So that's why I vectored off into networking and cyber, and it wasn't easy by any means after doing what I was doing, but it was easier, I'll say it like that. So yeah, so 3 degrees, and during my curriculum I was able to squeeze out a Compton Security Plus, which made me legal to run as a government contractor, whatever shakes out. So
awesome. So you talked a little bit about what you did in the Navy. Can you break it down in normal words?
So basically, like I said, I had 2 rates. First couple of years, I was a surface electronics technician. I was working on radios. Apparently, they thought I was pretty smart when I came in. I just fooled those guys. Well, I pulled the wool right over their eyes on that. But it was pre 9/11, and they were offering a lot of money for it for sign-on bonuses back then for that kind of stuff. So they're like, yeah, we'll let you go to let's do the frogman thing, but if you do this over here, because you're smart enough to do it, at least this test says you're smart enough to do it, we'll make you a 3rd-class petty officer and give you like a $10,000 sign bonus. And I was like, hey man, just give me that piece of paper, let's go. So I did that for a couple of years, got bored with it pretty fast. I was kind of a restless spirit after being a farm kid and everything. And then, like I said, I jetted off to the Navy's dive school and got screwed into the bottom of the pool for a few months and mashed mercilessly in PT and had a bunch of fun in Panama City, and then graduated. I did the deep sea diving thing for the rest of it. Basically, as a deep sea diver, we have kind of like a 3 pillars that we like to call it. Basically, expeditionary, which is basically like support EOD or the mobile diving salvage units, just going out there and scraping junk off the bottom of the ocean, or supporting EOD with their open water ops with mines and stuff like that. Special warfare, supporting SEAL teams. I got to do that for about 3 years in Little Creek. Undoubtedly, that was the funnest 3 years of my career, locking out submarines while they were still underway, submerged and everything. And then I did a lot of RD, T&E, and some spooky stuff that I can't really talk about. Stuff that they're handing out some pretty big awards and stuff like that. So, and then I do have a quick screen share. I promise you it's PG, but I'll show you. It's like one of the last things I did at the experimental diving unit. Oh, I disabled screen sharing. Okay, well I can't show it. It was pretty cool. It's a pretty cool picture. It was me and a closed circuit rebreather that we were testing out for the Special Warfare Development Group over at Namnek in our test pool, and I was all blacked out and got the closed circuit rig on me and everything, and, flashing the shotguns and everything. It was a really memorable dive, but some dangers too. I got a lot of bumps and bruises from a career. I've been bent a couple of times, and not for the faint of heart, but it was a lot of fun. It was
awesome. Well, so that picture that you're talking about, when we make this post online, we can go ahead and you can upload that picture if you like.
Okay, cool.
So you did all this diving stuff and you got a couple of degrees. What do you want to do after Navy? Or what job title, position, number are you looking at?
So funny story, 2018, we had Hurricane Michael come whipping overhead in Panama City. We had a few of the IT department on our N6. They decided their houses were gone. They're just the hurricane just said beat it, you're done. They decided to take the insurance money and cut bait and move on to other things. The CIO came to me. He knew about what I was doing in college, and basically he's like, "Hey man, I'm short-staffed. I need help. Can you be my cyber workforce program manager?" And I was like, "Sure, man. First question: what's a cyber workforce program manager do?" and he broke it down for me. Certification, delinquency date, CEUs, privileged access, and et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, sounds like cheap stuff, man. All right, cool. I'll take care of that. Did that for about 8 months. And then I earned my Security Plus, and he was like, hey man, you're legal to run. And you got your OS training done. You want to be an ISSO? I was like, sure, man. First question, what's an ISSO do? He just basically just like, all right, give me your hand, let me walk you through this. You know? And he's like, this is my autism. He's gonna show you the ropes. And I mean, that was it. So like, showed me Nessus and ACAS and all that, showed me how to use EMAS and got me an account for all that stuff. And then he came back to me and was like, hey, I know I asked a lot from you, Jesse. Can you be a Navy qualified validator for me too? I'm like, Dave, come on, man. Like you want me to carry this whole department for you? Come on. You're like, all right, cool. Let's go do it. And then before you know it, I had a pretty good, not a lot, but a pretty good chunk of experience. Drinking through a fire hose and having some growing pains for sure. But it was a very eye-opening experience, and I was just like, okay, risk management framework, information security, vulnerability management, patch management. There's definitely a future to be had here. That's much less detrimental to my body than deep sea diving was. So let's make a go of it.
Nice. So you've been told where to live your whole military career.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to live next, or did you already find that next place?
I already found it. It's here in North Alabama, just south of Huntsville, the old Rocket City. But I will say that when I made the decision to tap out from the Navy back in late 18, I think it was, give or take, I didn't know at that point in time. I knew Alaska and Hawaii, they were off the table to begin with. My wife's from California. She didn't want to go back there, and I didn't want to go back there either because I've been stationed there for 4 years. I grew up in Minnesota. I don't do air hurts my face anymore. So there's 46 states that are off the table. So now it's like, okay, schools, education, veterans benefits, taxes, property values, whole bunch of factors, and just sat there and peeled each state back layer by layer, looking through it, and saw which one was the best one. Some, pretty much all 3 states that touched the Pacific Ocean, they were out pretty fast. But in the end, we got down to like Idaho, Texas, Florida, Tennessee, and then Alabama was in there, but we weren't really considering it hardcore at the time. And then we began trips to like go to all these places and go check it out. And then COVID happened, and like Idaho was removed. Texas got removed because the DoD just clamped down on anybody going anywhere, as long as you were wearing a uniform. And then we were like, okay, let's stay in Florida. And then we didn't like the property values and what you got for your money in Florida. And so like my wife was just like, did you say there was a lot of work in Huntsville? I was like, mm-hmm. And she started getting on realtor.com and Zillow and Jaw on the floor for what we just were looking at for housing prices in Florida. You get like this palace in North Alabama, and we're just like, all right, we're gonna make this happen. So got the where. Now I just had to figure out the what. So and part of being a new guy, the problem is like IT is a very broad term. Between help desk and security and network engineering and architecture and all software dev and like the whole thing that goes into it. So I knew my where, but I still had to like kind of dial in my what. And then eventually I figured out, I was doing RMF right here for the Navy. Let's just stick with the bread and butter for now, and you're gonna grow your wings later. Cool, but stick with the easy button first, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome, right on, man. So here's an easy question for you. Well, those are pretty easy. Do you remember when we first met and what we talked about? Or what I may have sent you in a nice way on an IM?
I believe it was get that uniform off your profile. I believe that was the first thing you said. It was like, yeah, you'd be proud of a chief, but why? Like, you're not. Yeah, I think you were trying to figure me out was the first thing. Like, cause like you're trying to like, you saw my profile and you couldn't quite figure me out. Like, is he like he's like IT for MSW or EOD or something? And then from there, it was just kind of, helping me not stumble through this process. But thankfully I was pretty early and had a lot of time to work with. So that's basically what I did, but that was like 3 years ago. So it was like 2.5, 3 years ago.
Nice. Right on. So you're just finishing a SkillBridge right now, which is awesome. Congrats.
Thank you.
So resources, people, organizations, webinars. What all helped you to get to where you are right now?
So I've had a whole bunch. There's a metric boatload out there. I didn't get to using all of it. Sometimes there's just so much help that like you can't quite get to it all. I will say that David Schantz's SkillBridge community practice page, LinkedIn, big money, huge ROI. If not on it, you're wrong. And you want to do SkillBridge, just quote me on that. Like if you're not for SkillBridge, not on that page, you're wrong. Just as soon as you hear this, go search it, like it, and start following hardcore. I also am I'm an alumnus of American Corporate Partnership. I was looking at Veterati and ACP at the same time. I was trying to do both at the same time, but I couldn't do both, in my opinion, with everything I had going on. So I stuck with ACP and just went with it. Found a mentor who was a senior manager at your company, Lockheed Martin. Elizabeth was awesome. She really geared me up about some stuff that I hadn't thought about, even though I'd done a lot of research about, stealing my mind for the outside. So like her insight was huge, especially, and she was a former veteran, or she is a veteran, I should say, which I had requested from the ACP people was I want someone, a major DoD contractor, and I want someone who has prior military experience, so they can tell me about their transition and how they did it, what worked, what did not. And that way we're on kind of a level playing field. See here, what else? SkillBridge. Look, there's a SkillBridge group out there. It's like the unofficial SkillBridge group that's out there. There's some good stuff on there. USO Pathfinders, huge. My particular aide, I guess you call her, like my helper, my little helper team. Kelly Stull was her name. She's out of the USO Jacksonville. I was in the Florida Panhandle. Huge resources. She turned me on to like some certification paths that they partnered up with Percipio, I believe they're called. So yeah, I'll be using those resources for a while till I get smarter in this new field I'm working into. That's about all I can think of off the top of my head.
Awesome.
So,
right on, man. Right on. I've heard a lot about USO Pathfinders, and actually, you and my previous two people I've talked with all mentioned USO Pathfinders.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just thinking to myself, keep myself, like, man, when I transition, I wish I knew about them. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure who didn't talk about what. It seems like a lot of stuff with transition. It seems like it's one of the who you're around and what they talk about and what resources they mention and how could you maybe use some of those for yourself. So I was like, man, I wish someone had mentioned some of that stuff to me. That's what me trying to do some of my own thinking, because I'm not sure where my thinking went.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that is like, you don't know what you don't know until you find out you don't know it. So
this is true. Right on. So you talking about your education. You talking about some of your certifications you got. What would you consider as your, it's kind of a two-part question here. Consider as your top one achievements. And what could be maybe your top one failure that may have turned into an achievement or maybe changed the way you did some things?
My top achievement, I would have to say, is the N6 that I mentioned earlier that came for me to help, or came to me for help. In 2020, they had an IG inspection coming up, and that which ended up getting punted because of COVID and nobody could travel. Like I said, one finally went down. They'd had a poor history. They'd filled it twice in the last 10 years. And it just like there was a lot of eyes within NAVC, the parent organization for where to work. There was a lot of eyes that were on this on NEDU to make sure they passed, because if they didn't, it'd be the third in a row, and it was not going to be good. And like pretty much the entirety of the organization had changed at that point. Not only was I able to help them pass by, like I took the entirety of the workforce portion and I said, just give me that section and I'm going to beat it until it's like at 100% or as close as I can get to it. And it ended up shaking out at about 99.21. There's and then on another avenue was I had to draft actual policies. I had to draft incident response policies. I had to draft PED policies. I think I had to draft the I was a workforce guy, so I had to draft the cyber workforce policy because it didn't exist. It wasn't there. There was nothing on paper for anything. So if someone didn't get their IA credential for like 3, 4, 5 years, there was nothing that said, hey man, we gotta let you go, because there was no unit policy for it. It's like, which gave me another huge exposure to like the GRC side of things, because now you gotta like, hey, we gotta have these policies on file. And I've written command instructions before, I mean, for like explosives and urinalysis and stuff like that, but never this new realm, so I did a chief thing and sat down to figure it out. Start with the first draft and fire it off and see what they like it. And it's like, either it was great or like, just this is terrible. You gotta like this just bleed all over it, red ink, and back to the drawing board. So but in the end, they passed flying colors with like 90% plus in all areas, and it came out to like a 93 overall. And there was like, that probably my crowning achievement. As far as like failures, and this had nothing to do with cyber stuff, is I kind of fell into a funk, and in like my last 15 months, I kind of got bit by I don't know if it was like depression or something like that. A lot of uncertainty, like the future, like God, I feel like I got a solid plan, but I can't mess this up, like I got a family riding on it, like I gotta get this right, and I let it get to my professional side of things. I was running a shop and I let the maintenance kind of slack for more than I should, and it came to a point where so of course, once the numbers came in, 3MC's, 3MC had the maintenance coordinator had to dime me out. He had to. I got called up in front of the mess, and I had to go explain myself, and I was just like, sorry, this is me. I dropped the ball. I got to own it. I fell into a funk, and it's my fault. No one let this guy right here. So it just, put some stuff on paper, signed for it, fixed it, and just moved on. That's probably one of the biggest whoopsies in my entire career. That I'm not too proud of, but in the end, like nothing, no one got hurt, no equipment got broke. It's just big egg on face moment for Jesse. So
right on. So in essence of time, we're around the 25-minute mark. do you have any questions for me?
I really just got one. You know, like I feel like I've been beating a horn. I've talking to guys like yourself before you were even a hashtag on LinkedIn. But you know, I'm sure you've talked to an ungodly amount of people that are in the same shoes as me, like they're either separating or retiring or whatever. So a two-part question for you. What questions do you love from guys like me? And what questions do you hate from guys like me?
So we'll start off with the hate.
All right, good. I always start with the bad news. I like it.
Start on the bad note and end it with a good note, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't think hate is the right word. I think just don't care for. So I'll have some people reach out to me, and I think yesterday I made a post talking about this. So hey, what you should do, your transition, you, right? So what do I not like? Someone will reach out to me and ask me for some help, ask me for some advice, and that's cool. I love that, right? I can't answer everybody, but I try to answer most people, right? And I'll give them some advice. Hey, look, you should like check out my hashtag. You'll follow it, look at everything on it, sort by recent, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and just check out all the posts that are on there. I'm not saying how to post best information, but it's a start to start looking at some things, right? And then, hey, by the way, on the YouTube series, hey, check out my YouTube series. Check this out. Oh, by the way, I'm also on Veterati. Hey, check this out too. Cool, right? And then that same person, say for example, will hit me up 2 weeks later. Say, hey, all this information. I'm like, that's kind of weird. Hey, did you have a chance to check out my hashtag? Or, hey, did you have a chance to go check out my YouTube videos or create a Veterati profile or something so that we can talk to other military transitioning veterans and people who have already transitioned? And then when a person says that I had a chance to look at it, I'm like, got it. So I took time out of my day to help you and provide you all this information. Then a week, 2 weeks go by, and you say, yeah, I didn't have any time. Cool. Sounds great. I don't think I have any more time for you. Just saying. But so we see things like that, or you give someone some advice on how to do something, and they don't tell you, they don't understand, or they're not sure. They say, okay, thanks. And they come back to you a little later on and ask you the same questions again. It's like, let me scroll up on this message you sent me, like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. What did I tell you? And then maybe it's not the right thing, but I'll probably be the guy who says, hey, so I sent you some information a few weeks ago. Did you have a chance to look at it yet? Kind of thing. So things like that kind of get me a little irritated. I try not to get too irritated with it because I realize you're transitioning. You got 800 things going on all at once. You're getting pulled in 5 different ways. You're not sure what path to go down, maybe, and you're just looking for some direction. I got it. But, take a few minutes to think about what you're saying to people before you send them a message. So what do I enjoy? There we go.
Yeah. So
what I enjoy is when I did help somebody and they sat there and they took some notes. I mean, sure, I say a lot of things. I got it. But I do usually give everybody a little precursor. Hey, make sure you got a notepad. Make sure you got a pen or two. No, I'm just kidding. Make sure you got a pen. And sit here and take some notes. All right. So for this situation right here, talking about this, you should do this. Or this right here, do this. We get done with the conversation. Make a post. Make a post on LinkedIn. Tag me on it. Say you sat there and talked to me on some before you got some information, some advice from me. And then when you tag me on it, go to that post, comment on it. See, and then you connect with everybody who connects on there. And then send everybody connection requests. And keep on sending more connection requests. Or go through whatever company you want to work at. Go through their page. Get a hold of everybody who's associated with that company on LinkedIn. send them all a connection request. And then some people will go from like, oh, it seems pretty regular, but it seems like they go from like 40 connections. And like a week and a half later, they're like 650 connections. Like, man, that's awesome. And then here they're, hey, Tom, thanks so much, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, that's cool.
There you go.
Right on. So
Simple and straightforward.
So you don't have much left in your transition, but I'm kind of switch up this last question for you. I usually ask people what can I do to help you, but it seems like you're pretty close to your end of your transition. You already figured out where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you want to do it. So my last question for you is, are you going to stay active on LinkedIn? And how are you going to stay active on LinkedIn?
Well, I'll get to that point in just a second. The only reason I don't really need to ask you much is because I pretty much asked you everything there is to ask, almost. If not, then very close. Because like I said, it's been 2.5 years in the making.
Know each other for a little while, yeah.
Yeah, for a hot minute. Am I going to stay on LinkedIn? Am I going to stay active on LinkedIn? Yes, I am, because there's too much valuable information, too much chatter. There's too many gold nuggets out there to like really just be like, oh, here's my job offer, okay, and switch it off LinkedIn. Like, no, that's not a smart decision in my opinion. Nothing against having a great job. Like, everybody's got a great job. You got a great job. I'm about to have a great job here in a minute. I had a great SkillBridge, but everyone has a great job until they don't. And then when that thunderclap moment shows up, building a network when you absolutely need one is the worst time to be building a network. That's like trying to build a life raft when the ship is sinking. It's that's like, oh man, you did not plan, like, you planned poorly for this. It's like not Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Holy Grail, Indiana Jones. Like, he chose poorly. So yeah, will I stay on LinkedIn active? Yes, I will. Will I go to your level? I don't know if I'll quite go exo-stratospheric like you will. So, dude, seriously, you want high orbit, man. Like really high orbit. I don't think I quite have the energy to do what you're doing, but while I stay active and in the chatter and go poke Team Domingo every once in a while, and tomzacher Vet Advice and David Schantz and all those guys. Yeah, I'll go shake the tree every once in a while, see what happens. I'll go steer a few wayward souls when I find them, just like you did.
Awesome. I'll be sure to make sure I tag you on a few things so that we get the notification, and I'll give you a reason to log in.
Yep, exactly. Keep me honest.
There you go. Well, hey, now I don't want to make this into a 45-minute episode. So thanks so much for the time this afternoon. I really appreciate it. And you have a good one.
You too, man. Appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right. Take care, bro.
You too.